This is gonna be delish. I am Deborah VanTrece, a chef from Atlanta, Georgia. Prior to becoming a chef, I was an international flight attendant. Through my travels, I've gotten the opportunity to experiment and try so many different cuisines. Woo, we're there, and I like what I'm tasting. Bam! All cultures have comfort food, all cultures have soul food. And that has helped to shape my conversation on food and the soul food community all over the world. Global Soul, a Southern twist on a global dish.
We bring the world together when we cook with soul.
Hi, I'm Chef Deborah VanTrece. Welcome. Today we are going to do another twist on a soulful Southern dish. This is going to be a fried chicken Monte Cristo. First of all, the Monte Cristo, it originated in France. So this is a twist on a croque monsieur. I'm gonna stop talking about it so I can get going because there's a lot of little spins and twists in this recipe and I'm pretty excited to get it going. So first thing we're gonna do is start seasoning chicken. So I chose chicken thighs instead of chicken breasts. But if chicken breast is your preference, go right ahead and do that. You know, these, they have a little bit of fat. I'm gonna do a little bit of a trim on them. If you use the breast, of course, it's a lot leaner, but you also have to be careful when you're frying not to over fry so that you don't dry the chicken out. So I'm gonna whip a little bit of this fat off right quick, not a lot. And another option, if you want to cook these a little bit faster, you can take it one more step, get a meat mallet and pound them out so they're a little bit thinner. Also helps to tenderize it. And with that, I can get it to cook quicker and keep some of that moisture in it. So the first time I ever left the country, traveling, you know, mind you, I was a flight attendant, I got to go to France. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I know so much, you know, because I took French in high school, you know, and I was an A student, so I thought I knew everything I would need to know. I've got a little bit of seasoned salt, a little bit of onion powder, a little bit of garlic powder. One of the first things I do when I get there is I'm looking for a sandwich because I'm hungry. Yeah, but there was one little coffee shop, and I went in there, and this is what I had, was croque monsieur. And I thought, this is absolutely delicious. It's a sandwich I never forgot. I thought, what a great spin. One day I'm gonna use that. And this is how finally I ended up using it and turning it into my own dish. All right, we're gonna set up this station now because we're gonna fry this chicken. I'm gonna do some eggs, 4 eggs. I'm gonna add a little bit of water, make a nice egg wash. And you could also add milk here or buttermilk, depending on your preference. I want a thin layer for my crust on my chicken. So because of that, I prefer to use water. I'm gonna whisk all this together. Gonna grab some oil, add it to the skillet so we can get our oil heating. You know, as far as the choice of oil, a lot of people like peanut oil. This oil I've got is just a vegetable oil. A canola oil will work just as well. Do about 1/4 of an inch to a 1/2 inch of oil for this. All right, let's get our flour. AP flour, nothing fancy. Again, I don't want a heavy crust. I want this to be light because I've got the bread. I've got a lot going on in this dish. All right, we're gonna put a little bit of seasoning, garlic powder, a little bit of onion powder. It did season the chicken, but I'm extra. So I'm gonna do a little bit of overkill there. Gonna shake that up a little bit. Gonna let that get a little bit hotter. We're trying to get this oil up to about 350 degrees. So while I'm waiting on that, I'm gonna go ahead and start cutting my bread. It's a nice brioche loaf. This is good, you know, but where I come from, we don't use the heel of the bread unless you just have to. So we're gonna save it because it'll come in later for something really good like bread pudding. I'm gonna do about inch-thick slices on this loaf. And this sandwich is something that I've had on my menu at my restaurant. And I've actually used this recipe to win competitions. So you're gonna be in good hands with this recipe. Keep my eye on the oil, multitasking here. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna come back, we're gonna use this. I'm gonna trim just a little bit off of it. And when I make the sandwich, I'm gonna turn this inside out. All right, let's check this oil. We're gonna just put a little bit of flour, just go tch-tch. If it starts bubbling, we know that our oil is hot and we're ready to roll. Just a little bit longer, say about 2 or 3 minutes. So while I'm waiting on that, let's get these jalapenos ready. Told you there's lots of things that are about to happen. So get all my mise en place in order for this. Now, I would suggest if you're doing this at home, that you wear gloves so that that oil does not stick on your fingers and later come back to bite you. So I have to be real careful after I do this because I want to make sure that I don't touch my eyes, that I don't touch my lips directly because it's pretty spicy. You know, for the most part, jalapenos aren't too high on the spice meter. If you want more heat, the peppers are spicy if they're a little bit wrinkled. That's the way to kind of determine how much heat is in that actual jalapeno. All right, I think we got some heat ready here, but the oil needs a little bit more time. Let's give that a moment and we'll be right back. All right, I think we got some heat ready here. I could feel the heat coming off of it. Ooh, yeah. So we're ready now. The oil is hot, ready to go. I've got my chicken, I've got my egg wash, I have my dredge, my flour dredge. Gonna dip, we're gonna flour. So we're gonna do 2 hands. Dip, flour, dip, flour. So we're gonna keep dipping and flouring, and we're gonna fry some really good chicken. And with this dish, I'm also trying to make sure that everything I put my hands on, I've thought about flavor. So we can build flavor all throughout this amazing sandwich. Now, I've done variations of this sandwich during the holidays with turkey. It's a great way to get rid of leftover turkey, because we always know there's plenty of turkey left usually to get rid of. If you're at my house, I've made 3 of them. A roasted, a smoked, and a fried. Now, keep it moving. All right. There's something very warming about the smell of fried chicken. Always reminds me of my mom on Sunday. All right, so we wanna keep paying attention to this chicken. Give it some love. Want it to be golden brown. And so I'm gonna just every few minutes give it a nice little turn so I can brown it evenly on all sides as much as possible. All right. Let's dice up these peppers, get a few more of these seeds out of here. So the amount of jalapenos that you decide to put on is up to you. You know your own heat thermometer. I'm gonna do about a teaspoon or half a teaspoon per sandwich. Keeping my eyes on my chicken. So in researching this particular sandwich, I also found it interesting that it has that sauce, the little bechamel, the Monte, which is similar to the hot brown sandwich that you get in Kentucky around Kentucky Derby time. That's done with turkey, but it has the little Monte or bechamel sauce on it. So because of that, I thought, well, why don't we bring a little bit of Kentucky into this too? And you'll see that later on as I keep doing the recipe where I decided to bring that in. All right, I think we're pretty good. If not, I'll come back and cut some more. Now let's build the actual batter. I like to do this batter with eggnog, which is something that's very difficult to get all year round. If you're trying to buy it at the store, you're making it homemade, it's kind of a waste to use it on a sandwich because it's better if you're gonna drink it. But usually you can find it either in the can year round or you can find powders. So I found a dehydrated eggnog powder, and that's what we're gonna use. So I'm gonna add just a little, and we're gonna add a little bit of milk. Okay, so I'm gonna whisk together a little milk, a little bit of the eggnog powder. Keep an eye on the chicken. The chicken, I'm gonna cook it again. We're gonna put it in the oven, but it needs to be pretty much cooked all the way through. It's not gonna be in the oven for very long. And I do wanna make sure that gets done. So as we're waiting on the chicken to finish browning, we're gonna go to break and we'll be right back. All right, we're back and the chicken is beautiful. But take the chicken out. If you're not sure, you can always use a thermometer. It needs to register at 165, then you know it's completely done. I can visually tell this is completely done. My color is beautiful. Let's get these out of here. I'm gonna leave those in there just a little longer. We're gonna get back to this batter. Put a little water in here. And I've got some waffle or pancake batter. Either will work. Just get the easy peasy, the one that's complete. You can make your own from scratch if you want, but it's really not necessary because we're just using it for a batter. This is about a cup of a complete pancake or waffle mix. Now we're gonna let that chicken just drain, get some of that fat off of it. I can smell this eggnog powder in here, which is what I want. We're looking for a consistency that's kind of thick. Just think of French toast, little bit thicker, you know, but just think of that same batter that you do when you're doing French toast from scratch. A little bit of ginger. I've got a little bit of cinnamon. You do a little bit of clove or nutmeg. All right, let's start on a sauce. Now, traditionally in France, the croque monsieur is savory, but I like to have something fruity, strawberry, raspberry, blackberry. So we're gonna do something a little bit different. We're gonna use cranberry sauce. So to start this, I'm gonna add a little bit of water to my pan. I've got a can of cranberry sauce, the jelly kind, the one that has the lines on it. Do not substitute the nice one that you make from scratch. It's not that kind of party. We just want some regular jelly cranberry sauce. I know I'm extra, but sometimes I know when it's time to stop. It's a whisk. I'm gonna sit these on the burner so they can just simmer. We're gonna get ready to start building the sandwich. So cheese, I'm gonna do Gruyere. Emmenthal will work, a Swiss will work. If you want cheddar, go for it. Make some thin slices. And shredded will work fine for this too. It's starting to look pretty good. So I'm gonna start layering this with cheese. Gruyere is a cheese that we don't often use in the United States, but in France, it's an everyday occasion. But cheese is an everyday occasion in France. Okay, now let's get our chicken. I'm gonna slice my chicken. You don't have to do this, but I'm going to, only because I've got big slices of bread. So moist, wow. So I could spread it out just a little bit on the bread. I really just want to eat a piece of fried chicken, but I'm not gonna do that. But man, does it smell good, and it's so moist. I'm gonna keep slicing this chicken. Do y'all see this? Get out of here. You're on your way to some of the best chicken you ever had in your life. We're gonna go to break, and I'll be right back. We're back. We're back. All right, so we've got our chicken slice, it's on the bread. The next thing we're gonna do is add a little bit of heat. So I've got these jalapenos. Don't wanna go crazy, but what goes great in the South with fried chicken is a thing called hot sauce. So I'm thinking of this the way I would think of hot sauce. Little bit of heat. Don't wanna kill the people, so I think I better stop. We don't want to turn them off with too much heat. All right. Trying to make sure I get the bread covered. It's nothing worse than biting down and you don't have any filling in your bread, and it's supposed to be a sandwich. So we've got the butts budding. We're gonna smash, 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 smash. Yum. All right, let's get some butter. Now, butter makes me do the happy dance. I'm gonna get happy. Gonna dip. This is a bit messy, but it's worth the mess. So we got nice golden brown. It looks like French toast. It smells divine. They're looking good too, and they smell absolutely delicious. We got this under control. Gonna finish browning off these sandwiches. So remember earlier I told you we got twists and spins all over this dish. So we all know historically it came from France. I talked about the hot brown in Kentucky and how it's so similar to the hot brown sandwich, the original croque monsieur. So we're gonna put a little bit more of Kentucky in this dish and a little bit more of a twist because we're gonna make the adult version of the Monte Cristo. We're gonna add maple syrup to my berry sauce, but on top of that, we've got some Kentucky bourbon. Now, I only poured a little bit, but I have been known on some Sunday mornings to pour quite a bit more. Ooh, yeah. If you need some for the kids, grab some out before you pour the bourbon in there. The thing I love about this dish is it takes you to a whole bunch of different places. It's got a lot of history. It takes me to France. It just took us to Kentucky. It's been on our restaurant menu because it is absolutely delicious. All right, let's go. We're gonna put these in the oven and just let them heat up just a little bit. I'm excited. So you can see how the cheese is melted. It looks delicious. It's time for the happy dance. it's time for the happy dance. This is gonna be so good. We got our heat, we're gonna put our little sweet. So let's slice up a little bit of orange. Always wanna make it look, what? Pretty. The aroma is everything. I can smell cinnamon, ginger, I can smell bourbon. I've got cranberry notes going. Yum. A little bit of sauce. Give it a little touch of color, a little pop, a little extra touch of sweetness. Got a little powdered sugar. Don't need too much, you know, makes it look all cute. All right, look at this, look at this, look at this. Who's hungry? Who is hungry? Okay, so here we have our Southern Monte Cristo. Bon appetit.
Let's go, let's go.
Hey.